Wave 3 of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass dropped a couple days ago, and I can easily say, without a doubt, it's the best wave of the bunch so far. It has the best selection of tracks out of all the waves, the visuals have been heavily upgraded in all of them, and the changes made to how they play, for the most part, are all for the better. With the release of Wave 3, we are now at the halfway point of the DLC, and I'd say it's totally been worth it. Anyways, I won't waste any more time. Y'all know how this goes by now. We've taken a look at all the original versions of these beloved tracks, but now it's time to rank all of the remakes from worst to best. Just like the other DLC tracks, this list will be based on how fun and creative the tracks are, as well as some of my personal preferences. So without further ado, let's go! At number 8, we have GBA Boo Lake. Despite being at the bottom of the list, this is still a fantastic remake and a really fun course. This track takes place in the dead of night, so there's a bunch of boos flying around and a really creepy background. You're still driving on a wooden road, and the layout features lots of turns and a couple splitting paths, just like the original. However, now the track actually dips up and down like a modern Mario Kart track, and the second half of the course is also an underwater section that doubles as an anti-gravity section, which is an awesome new addition that helps it fit in with the other tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Unfortunately, as great as this remake is, it's still held back by being pretty short and not having the same level of creativity as other tracks in Wave 3. That being said, this is still a really great course, and if this is the low point of the wave, then you know we've got some excellent tracks coming up. At number 7, we have 3DS Rock Mountain. Personally, I consider this to be one of the more forgettable tracks from Mario Kart 7, but it's still really cool. Just like in the original, you start off by driving on this path carved into the mountain, but then you come zooming out the side and glide out into the sky, making you feel like a real daredevil. You then head back to the ground with tons of trees scattered around, and the final section has you climbing up the side of the mountain with some dash panels and some giant boulders rolling down before you glide back to the starting line. Honestly, this version of Rock Mountain isn't that different from the original aside from a graphical upgrade, and this part when you drive up the mountain being turned into an anti-gravity section. But you know what? I'm okay with that. This course still feels like an adventure, and I love it because of that. At number 6, we have DS Peach Gardens. In case Peach wasn't flexing her copious amounts of money enough already, now she has a giant garden behind her castle that can be used as a racetrack, and it looks fabulous. All of the flower patches, trees, and grass statues of Mario characters look gorgeous, and that remixed music gives this course more of a royal feeling. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, because Peach also has huge chain chomps roaming around trying to crush you, a massive piranha plant that'll bite down at you, and even a few Monty moles digging around near the end. But the biggest new addition to this version of Peach Gardens is that the final lap has you doing the whole track backwards. You even get this part where you glide over the main part of the garden, which looks so freaking cool. This, alongside the fresh coat of paint, makes this already decent course several times more interesting. At number 5, we have Tour London Loop, arguably the most complicated track in Mario Kart history. Like, seriously, just look at this thing. When I first played this track in Mario Kart Tour, I didn't really like it that much, but leave it to Nintendo to outdo themselves. I don't know what they did, but this track feels much more visually distinct than it did on mobile. On top of that, having the course laid out like this means each lap is drastically different from each other. You'll trick off bridges, pass by several different buildings and tourist attractions, and there's a ton of chain chomps that'll lunge out at you, and even hop on the track themselves for the last lap. You can even see a chain chomp swimming in the river. That's fantastic. I was going into this wave thinking I'd place London Loop a lot lower than this, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I found myself having a lot more fun than I expected.
At
number 4, we have Merry Mountain. This track may be more basic than London Loop, but my god, it's so much cooler. You get to drive up and down a mountain that's entirely themed around Christmas. There's giant presents, candy canes, Christmas trees, and even a Christmas train that flies across the sky, tossing coins onto the track. I also love the music that plays in the background. It truly feels like it was ripped right out of a Christmas movie. The actual layout of the track is pretty simple, with a few wavy turns, a couple splitting paths, and the final section of the course is in anti-gravity, and even features the triumphant return of half pipes, which give you way more speed than they did in Mario Kart Wii. Even though Merry Mountain isn't as buck wild with its design as other tracks, it's just so pleasant to race on, and fills me with cheers like Christmas-themed things should. At number 3, we have Tour Berlin Byways. They did it, guys. Nintendo has truly crafted my favorite city track of all time. Similarly to London Loop, Berlin Byways has a very wavy and complicated track layout, and there's a bunch of cars driving around with you. And, just like London Loop, the crazy track design means each lap has something new going on. You'll get to drive through the subway, next to a ton of cool looking landmarks found in Germany, and you'll even have to avoid some thwomps and whomps crashing down onto the road. And I haven't even brought up just how vibrant everything in this course is, as well as how absolutely fantastic the music is. It may even outdo the original song. It slaps so f***ing hard. I'm still not sure if this is the best city track, but it's definitely my favorite, and I'm so happy that it made a comeback in Wave 3. At number 2, we have Wii Maple Treeway. It's funny how we now have 2 tracks where we get to drive on giant trees. The difference is, Maple Treeway is way more fun and memorable than Wild Woods. The whole fall aesthetic and more peaceful nature of the track really sells what it's going for. Because you're driving on massive trees, the road twists and turns all over the place, there's a few places to take shortcuts, and there's a couple dash panels, half pipes, and places to trick. On top of that, you've got these giant wigglers walking around the middle of the track, and you've got this awesome gliding section where you fly back to the end. Still not as cool as the wavy bridge from the original, but still nice. I should also mention how unbelievably beautiful this track looks, and the excellent remixed music. Maple Treeway will always be a favorite of mine, and seeing it return now makes me love it even more. And at number 1, we have 3DS Rainbow Road. Holy sh**, this track looks outstanding. The graphical overhaul this course was given, from the road itself to the planets, and especially the background, is simply surreal, and makes racing here even more magical than it was before. As for the actual racing, the track features many ramps, speed boosts, and sections where the road ripples. You get to drive on Saturn's rings, and even the mood while driving on anti-gravity. And then there's this part right here. You drive through this giant tube and launch out the end, where you get to speed through rings and avoid asteroids. This moment really hits home how incredible this track is, and before you know it, the race is over, leaving nothing but a big smile on your face. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now has 4 rainbow roads, and this is easily the best one. But most importantly, it's easily the best track in Wave 3. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe to my channel so you'll know when I post more videos like this and when I rank the other DLC tracks. Also, if you want to see me rank the original versions of these tracks, then you can find that video in the description below. Have a great day, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.